Danny Segura for MMAJunkie.com. I'm here with UFC featherweight contender Shane Burgos, who's coming off one of the greatest fights we've seen this year in 2021, obviously at UFC 262 against Edson Barboza. First of all, Shane, how are you feeling? Obviously, as I mentioned, it was a fight of the night winner, one of the best fights we've seen this year. And, it was a war. It was an all-out war. We're a little bit like almost 2 weeks removed now. How are you feeling physically after such a bout?
Physically, I'm actually feeling pretty good. Nothing, no serious injuries or anything like that. I came back to training yesterday, just to take some time off. I'm not obviously not going to spar or anything like that, but I got back to grappling yesterday. Got back to some wrestling, but physically, I'm feeling pretty good. Honestly, the biggest thing is like my foot. I have not a broken finger, but a sprained ligament in my knuckle from one of the jabs I landed. So that's really annoying because I can't close my fist all the way. But other than that, I feel physically pretty good.
Okay, nice. That's great to hear. And more or less, how do you handle, recovering and also making sure you're not stepping in there too early, right? And sparring and all that. Is it kind of tough to hold back a little bit?
It's tough to hold back just from getting on the mat and just being able to move, like, because that's what I want to do. But the sparring thing, I'm a lot more mature now. I mean, when I was younger, I definitely would have jumped right back into that. But I'm going to take my time with that. I'm in no rush to spar. I'm not fighting soon anyway, so it doesn't make sense for me to jump back into sparring. That part I'm going to take a little bit more serious and be a little bit more cautious about. But wrestling, grappling, I did it yesterday, and I don't plan on stopping now. Now I feel like that's just going to make me have to focus on that part of my game anyways. So I'm cool with that. That works out for me. But other than that, I've been doing PT 3 times a week just to try to get all these little bumps and bruises completely gone, so I can just get back into full swing of all-around training except for sparring.
Yeah, for sure. And how do you feel about the result 2 weeks removed? Because at the time you seemed pretty down about it. Obviously, you got the bonus 75K, so you were happy about that. But you wanted to win. You wanted to get out there with your hand raised. So 2 weeks removed, how do you feel about the bout, what happened, and the result?
Yeah, the bonus is honestly, it's like a Band-Aid on a big ass cut. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really do too much because, I mean, don't get me wrong, I appreciate it. I'm not trying to sound ungrateful, but and it's good money. But I would gladly give that money back and take the win, and don't even pay me, just have that win. It fucking sucks, man. It really does. Like I said in another interview, like I got 3 losses in my entire career, and all 3 came from the 3rd round, which is super frustrating because I always feel my best going into the last round. I pride myself on my cardio and my conditioning. I wasn't even remotely close to tired in that fight, and I just got away a little bit from the game plan. The game plan was to always double the jab. I threw 1 jab, and he came over the top, and that's, I guess, left me open. My hand was up, so that was frustrating too. It wasn't like I was being lazy. My hand was up, but he just came over the top of that right hand, and it was just a really weird shot. So it's super frustrating and super annoying looking back at it still. It pisses me the fuck off still.
Yeah, I'm sure. But I mean, it was a very exciting fight. Obviously, as I mentioned, in one fight of the night awards. You obviously want to get your hand raised. But any positives you leave apart from the 75,000? Any things about your performance that you liked about it?
Yeah, good question. I honestly don't really give a fuck what anyone thinks about this, but I didn't lose one shred of confidence when it comes to that fight. I really think if we go in there 100 times, I think I'm going to win the majority of those, and that's no disrespect or anything like that to him. I just feel like there was never a point in that fight where it's happened to me before, not a fight, but you know, with fighters, you're in training and you train with somebody and you know, all right, this guy's just better than me. So I'm just trying to land my shots in, but just not trying to get my ass whooped. I never felt like that in any of the fights that I've lost. I never felt like I got my ass whooped. Every single fight, all 3 of my losses got fight of the night. They were all competitive fights, and all 3 of those guys are top 10 guys. So I didn't lose one shred of confidence. This is the guy I've been watching since I was 15 years old. Like, I had a similar approach with the Cub Swanson fight where I've been watching him, but Edson was, in my eyes, no offense to Cub, but even bigger because he's at a higher weight class and he's coming down. So it was a lot of nerves going into that fight. Like, I didn't know how I was going to match up with him. I've been watching highlights for so long. I know how fast he kicked, how hard he kicked. I was nervous going into those ones, but I like those nerves. It wasn't bad nerves or anything like that. But even after the fight, after it ending, I didn't lose one shred of confidence. Like, I was to run that one back one day. I really, really truly believe I'm better. And there's little adjustments and little things that I didn't do in that fight that I feel like I can do so much better.
Yeah, hopefully we see a second chapter to that, because definitely, it was one of the best fights we've seen this year, and it was just an all-out war. And talk to me a little bit about the finishing sequence. Obviously, that made a lot of headlines, and and because it was just such a bizarre ending. Like you were kind of there after a shot, and then it was a delayed response that sort of kicked in seconds later. Do you remember what happened? Are you
Yeah.
aware of what went down?
Yeah, it was just a really weird shot. I remember he hit me and didn't think anything of it. I just remember getting back to my stance and bobbing. And when I was bobbing, I was trying to come back all the way up to my stance. And felt like I was slowly getting lower, and I was slowly getting to a spot position. And I'm like in my head, like, what the fuck is going on? Like, stand up. It was just a weird thing where my mind was all there, and I'm telling my body to stand up straight, and I just couldn't. It was slowly going down. Then all of a sudden, they shut off, and I just flew back. And that's when he came and he hit me with those follow-up shots. But it's weird that I didn't remember that part. I feel like I don't know, but it was just a lot of that. I saw a doctor did a write-up saying that it's a credit to my conditioning. I guess that sounds kind of cool and stuff. We can run with that, but I have no clue what the fuck it actually was. Maybe it was that. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very strange to watch. Has that ever happened to you, even at a
No,
smaller degree in training or anything like that?
no, never,
Okay.
never. It's the weirdest thing because I guess my mind was there. I was cognizant. I wasn't even like my equilibrium was there. Like remember when I fought Cater, he hit me in the back right by ear, and my equilibrium was off where it looked like my eyesight was shifted this way. That was completely different. This one, I was there. Like boom, I was like, all right, I'm good. I could see straight, but my legs were just shutting off. Like, what the fuck is going on? So it was a weird, bizarre. Never happened. Never felt that before.
Yeah. And I believe in that same video where, the doctor did the breakdown on sort of what happened, that went around as well. I believe the next
I
day
didn't even
after the
watch.
fight. Okay. I from what I remember, it was just basically an explanation on how something like that can happen, right? And basically the conclusion was one, that you were in great shape, and also like your mind was just too tough. Um, and you were just too tough, I don't want to say
Yeah.
for your body, but like your mind was
No,
just,
I get it.
at a different level. So
Like,
once you hear that, how does that make you feel? Because like, sure, I know the result is disappointing and all,
yeah,
but at the same time, like, we saw an interview with Paul Daly, my colleague Nolan King did it a couple days ago, and he's like, whenever I talk to young fighters, I don't really consider them fighters until they go through something crazy like I did against Sabah Humasi, or something like that, like until you go through the fire. And clearly, like, that was some world class stuff. I mean, you talk about tough men. I don't know how many people can try to will themselves back.
yeah, yeah. That's literally what it felt like I was doing. Like I was like getting frustrated with my body, trying to like convince my body to like get up. But they're saying like your body will break a lot quicker, a lot sooner than your mind will if you condition your mind that way. And I knew that, but it was really like that was an example right there for me because there's no you get some fighters that'll quit, but so I don't want to be cliche or corny, but there really is no quit in me, and I feel like I don't need to say that. I feel like it's pretty much proven at this point, but especially after that one, there's literally there's no quit in me. My mind will keep going until my body can't anymore, and that's just what happened. I got hit in the temple, and my mind wanted to keep going, but my body was like, you know what, we needed a little break.
Yeah, no doubt about that. That was just next level of toughness, man. And another thing that kind of went viral after your fight was you meeting Edson, maybe hours after the fight, after you guys already done sort of the medical parts, and he was kind of cheering you up and giving you a lot of props and saying, "Hey, man, look, in there, you could have caught me at any point, and I could have gone out." Um, what was that moment like? And can you talk a little bit about meeting him? And also, as you mentioned, he's a legend of the sport. You've been watching him for a while. What was it like to sort of have Edson, give you some motivation and respect after the bout?
And that was cool. He was cool the entire time leading up to fight week when I see him here and there. Well, we didn't have like any conversations leading up to it, but he was just super respectful, and I expected him to be he's a real artist. But that moment specifically was it was a great moment. It's one of those moments that you'll probably I know I'll never forget. Because when you go through one of those crazy fights like that, win, lose or draw, you earn respect for the other man. Even if you don't go through one of the crazy fights, even if you go through a quick fight, you just automatically gain that person's respect. But going through something like that and then having a moment after and then him saying what he said, that meant a lot to me, and it shows what kind of person he is because he's been in this game for so long. He has double the fights I do. Like I said, I've been watching him since I was in high school, and he didn't have to do that. He just went did his medicals, and then so all right, see ya, good fight. And he decided to try to cheer me up. So I mean, shows what kind of man he is. I do appreciate that.
Certainly, it was one of a great show of sportsmanship here in mixed martial arts. I think a lot of people shared that, and they were really taken away by the amount of respect both of you guys had.
Yeah,
So
we don't have to hate each other to go out. I
yeah,
mean, like I had no bad blood, no ill will towards him at all. Like I obviously want to win the fight, but I honestly want him to go back home healthy to his kids and stuff too, because I know he's his family. But whether we're cool or whether we hate each other, I'm gonna view the same exact way anyway. So what's the point of being all pent up and walking around fight week with a chip on your shoulder? You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter whether we like each other or not. We're gonna fight. We're gonna fight 100% every time. So I like that. I like that way better, but it's what it is.
certainly. No, and you guys' styles, I mean, even before the fight, I think you guys' bout was already pinned as fight of the night, was already pinned as sort of the people's
Yeah.
main event. I mean, that fight everybody was looking forward to. And let me ask you this. I guess moving forward now, obviously you're just getting back into things. You still have some PT to do and fully recover from all the little things. But is there a plan in place? Is there a date that you would like to return? How do you move forward from here?
Oh yeah, always forward. That's my mantra, my life mantra. Always forward. But yeah, I'm gonna probably come back around the end of the year, maybe around November, December, or around there. I don't have anybody specifically in mind right now, but I really can't wait to get back. It kind of sucks that I have to wait this much time. The silver lining in that is I get a lot of time. I get to spend time the summer with my family. I just had a newborn daughter. That's why I had to push this interview back a little bit further today, because my wife was at the grocery store and she was awake screaming for the past 25 minutes. So that gives me some downtime to spend with them, because when I'm in training camps, it's so hard to you know what I mean? It's so hard to spend quality time with them because your mind is elsewhere. And not only that, everybody knows I'm a big featherweight and I cut a lot of weight. I said this in a million interviews, right? Like we always talk about my weight, but I have to eat very meticulously to make 145 pounds. So that's constantly on my mind. That's on my mind probably more than the fight, because not more than the actual fight, because I'm going through the training, but every time I'm done with training and stuff like that, it's just, all right, what am I going to eat? When am I going to eat it? I got to go weigh it. I got to do this, got to do that. And that just takes away from my family time too. So it's good to have the summer off just so I can spend time with them and just be 100% me and be 100% me to them.
Yeah. And I know you've talked about this in other interviews about, potentially trying 155 at some point. How serious are those thoughts? Like, is it something that we're
Yeah.
talking about potentially for your next fight or next couple of fights, or is this just down the road? Because you are a very young fighter.
Yeah, I don't think the next one. I think this one will still be at 45, but I'm not getting any younger, obviously. But I think weight cuts are going to get a lot harder. Not that the last one was hard. The last one was the first time I ever used the portable sauna too. Was for the last one, because UFC's new with COVID, we really can't go to the gyms or anything like that. So we used the portable sauna. I had no clue how I was going to react to that, but I loved it. It was probably one of my favorite weight cuts, because I was just sitting in the portable sauna up to my head. I could sit in there a lot longer too, because your head's out, you can breathe. So I'm pouring sweat, and I was just watching my brother and one of my teammates was there. So they were training off to the side, so I was literally just watching them train while I was cutting weight. So this is actually kind of nice. I'm gonna stick with this from now on, because the real sauna fucking blows, man. Having to breathe in that hot air, it sucks.
Yeah.
So 45. I got some unfinished business at 45, so I'm gonna stay at 45 for a little longer. But 55 is most definitely in the future.
All right, Shane. Well, I appreciate the time. Thank you so much for talking to us here at MMA Junkie, and best of luck in, with obviously the newborn. I know that's a lot of work itself, so you're gonna be sleeping very little and doing plenty of work there. And can't wait to see you back in action, hopefully by the end of this year.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate the time. Have a good one.